Namaskar, Pranam. I welcome all of you once again on the platform of Pavitra on this wonderful day of International Yoga Day. As you all know, it has been our constant effort and endeavor to always give you the best, which is good for Mother Earth and good for us. So, ecosystem of the soul, beneficial from within and without, balancing our life, alignment of everything. Aligning ourselves, our nature with Mother Nature. And yoga itself means to reconnect to who we are, and that the core being of ours, to reconnect with that supreme being. So today we have a very special guest with us to help us understand the very same thing, help us understand yoga better, and through that make us become more relaxed with all the things which are going on, all the anxiety which we face. Help us relax and be free of anxiety. Her name is Yugala Priti. She's a certified yoga teacher at Govardhan School of Yoga. She has been practicing Bhakti Yoga and Hatha Yoga for 8 years. She finds great joy in sharing the timeless tradition and wisdom of yoga with others. When she's not at the Eco Village, she travels abroad, organizing and conducting international yoga retreats. She's also an expert cook specialized in vegan recipes. Thank you so much, Yugala Priti, for joining us today on this platform of Pavitra. Thank you for being a part of our family. Over to you, Yugala Priti.
Hare Krishna. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for such a beautiful introduction. I'm very happy, very grateful to be here today with all of you and hopefully share something that will be useful and beneficial. So in Vedic tradition, before we start anything, we begin with some prayers to invoke auspiciousness, to connect with the divine, and to help us to be that instrument of God's mercy, of God's compassion. So I invite all of you to join with me together to chant the prayer, if you're familiar with. If not, just simply close your eyes if you like to, and meditate on the sound vibration, connecting to the source, to go within and just to be a little bit more present. And hopefully, perhaps we can use this a few moments to set a sankalpa, to set an intention, what we want to achieve through this practice, through this short time that we have together. So I invite you to just sit nice and tall, perhaps bring your shoulders up, backwards and down. Take a few deep breaths, inhaling deeply through your nose and exhaling completely. Inhale, notice abdomen rising. Exhale, abdomen goes in. You can bring your palms together in front of your heart. Inhale deeply. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Thank you again for being present here today, for spending your precious time with us. So today's topic is a little bit about relaxation, how to find peace and connection in these turbulent times. And I'm sure you all have some ways that you relax, something that perhaps helps you to relax. So if you would like, sorry, I'm just trying to fix something, technical issues. If you would like to share something with us on the screen, on the chat box, what are the ways that helps you to relax? So just note it down. We want to try and keep this session a little bit interactive as much as we can. So if you would like to share with us, what helps you to relax? What are the ways that works for you? Perhaps you found some magical technique, some magical way to relax and be more peaceful and mindful. So I see something is coming up now in the chat. Singing bhajans, beautiful. So good food, that's so wonderful. So yeah, we all have some habits or some ways that we turn to be more peaceful and more relaxed. Share some more. What are the ways that helps you? Everyone is individual. Everyone is so personal. So let us know. Or perhaps you've seen around. What do people do when they are stressed out, exhausted, tired? What do they turn to? Where do they turn to find that connection, that peace? What are the most common ways? Medalini Saki Mataji saying, I've seen people go for a walk. Beautiful. Yeah, it helps me a lot as well. Here in Lithuania, we have beautiful nature, forests, beaches. So I go out and spend time in nature, and it helps you to immediately feel a little bit better, more connected. Pranayama is also a very powerful way to bring the mind under control. It is explained, and we'll talk a little bit more about it soon. It is explained that the mind is connected to the breath. So just like you'll notice, if you feel some negative emotion, if you feel some anger, frustration arising, just take a pause. Take a pause, focus on your breath, inhale deeply, exhale completely 5 to 10 times, and you'll notice that that negative emotion is subsiding. That's how powerful pranayama, that's how powerful the breath is. And the other way around, you'll notice that if you are stressed out and feeling some negative emotion, you'll notice that your your breathing pattern becomes more rapid. It becomes more restless. So yeah, that's how it works. Mind and pranayama and that kind of control. Dancing, beautiful. They are dancing, letting all out, letting all the emotions out. Yoga nidra, powerful. I guess you all tried some yoga nidra already. Drawings, paintings, and singing bhajan. Beautiful. Thank you all for your wonderful answers. These are all wonderful ways to help us reconnect. So the survey was actually done, and many people were asked, what are the ways that helps that you relax? What are the ways? And the three primary answers came up. And these are all answers you're giving. They're like more like in the mode of goodness, sattvic answers, because you're all people practicing yoga, meditation, from that kind of background. So I'm not surprised you're giving these beautiful answers. But in the world today, people find relaxation. They try to relax in not so sattvic ways. What they find, what the research was that was done, the three most prominent answers were sleep, right? That's one of the ways to relax. Then the second one was entertainment. So like watching movies, watching TV, playing video games. That's how people relax nowadays. And the third answer was intoxication. So people turn to intoxicants to forget the reality, the intense reality of this material world. So it's interesting that all these three ways that I just mentioned, they are all ways of escaping the harsh reality of this existence. Um, Going into reality that is not so difficult. When we sleep, we forget. We forget about our problems. We forget about our challenges that we're going through. When we're watching a movie, we are so absorbed into the life of someone else, into the life that is shown on the screen, that we forget what we're going through. And when we're taking intoxicants, it dulls our consciousness. So these are all ways that are ways of escaping the reality. But today I wanted to share with you what are the ways that yogi turns to relaxation. And I don't mean, when I say yogi, I don't mean someone who's like sitting in the Himalayas and just meditating all days. I mean all of us. All of us, how do we, people who are trying to advance in spiritual knowledge and spiritual life, What are the progressive ways to relax? So a yogi turns within. We don't go into those spheres of like disconnecting, escaping the reality, but we disconnect to connect. We disconnect from external disturbances, external distractions of this world to connect, to go within. And like Mataji said in the introduction, yoga is about connection. Yoga is about finding that link to the supreme. And that's the root of the word Sanskrit, of the Sanskrit word yoga. The root is yuj, which means to connect. So now what to connect with? To connect with the source of all happiness, all bliss, all pleasure. And when we connect, when we invest our time to connect with that source, then we'll notice that we're becoming more peaceful, happy, nourished. And that's the process of yoga. Oftentimes today in the world, people think of yoga as something, physical exercise, stretching to keep the body fit. And while that is an important part of yoga aspect, that's definitely not the main goal of yoga. Yoga is there to help us to connect, to understand our real, true nature as a spirit soul, as a part and parcel of God. So if you could all mention in the comment section, in the chat box, have you practiced yoga before? So just say yes or no if you've done yoga before, meaning yoga asanas, exercises. Just would like to know how many of you are completely new to yoga and how many of you are already at least a little bit familiar. Thank you. Okay, yeah. So today we'll look into a few simple asanas that can help us to find that relaxation within, to connect. Okay, so most of you are familiar. Beautiful, thank you for sharing. But before we go into the practical part, I just wanted to share with you a few slides that can help us understand a little bit better on what is our identity. What is our identity? So I'm just trying to share the screen here. I hope you can all see properly. So first of all, in order to be happy in this world, we need to understand what is our identity. Who are we? That's the first question that comes for an aspiring practitioner. Just like in the Yoga Sutras by Patanjali, the very first aphorism says, Yoga Anushasana, that now is the time for yoga, now is the time for discipline. And Vedanta Sutra is the same. Vedanta Sutra, the very first aphorism says, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now that you've gained this human form of life, this precious gift, now is the time to inquire, who am I? What is my identity? Why am I here? What is the goal of life? And all these questions that an intelligent person asks. So once we ask these questions, it's important to turn to the right source, to the bona fide source like Vedas, the Vedic literature, the Yoga Sutras. So in those scriptures, it is explained that we're not this body, we're not this mind, we're something divine. We're something divine, we're the spiritual soul, the part and parcel of God, a tiny, tiny jiva or soul that is residing in the region of the heart. It is explained in the ancient scriptures, Shrutasvara Upanishad, Dvasuparna Sayujasa Kaya, that imagine there is a tree, and on the tree there's two birds sitting. And one bird is the bird that is tasting the fruit. And sometimes he eats a fruit that is bitter, and sometimes he tastes the fruit that is sweet and juicy, and then he rejoices. So that is the bird compared to us, the living entity that we're trying to enjoy in this material world. But sometimes we are faced with challenges. Sometimes we're suffering. That's the nature of this world. And then the other bird that is sitting right next to us is the Paramatma, the super soul. And that bird is simply witnessing. That bird is simply witnessing what is the jiva doing. So the goal of yoga is to connect to connect that bird, that bird who is being active and participating in this world, to connect us to the witness, to the Paramatma, to the super soul within. So that is yoga connection. So here in this picture, we can see that we have this subtle body that is consisting of mind, ego, and it's part of us, right? And then we have the gross body, consisting of physical elements. But we are neither of those. We are the spirit soul, the part and parcel of God. So it's important to get it clear, to understand that I am not this body, I am the spirit soul. So now, what am I supposed to do? And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that you are supposed to perform yoga. You're supposed to engage your mind, your senses, everything in the service of God through the process of yoga. So the qualities of the soul, it is explained that the soul is eternal. We never die, we're never born. You cannot hurt the soul in any way. It cannot be withered by the wind, it cannot be burned by fire. Soul is eternal. It's made of spirit, it's not made of matter. Then another quality of the soul is chit. It is full of knowledge. We're all knowing, we're just temporarily covered by illusion. And another quality of the soul is ananda. It's full of bliss. So that is our nature. Once we shed all those covering through the practice of yoga, then we understand our true nature. We are blissful. And it is explained in the Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Nasochati Nakankshati Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Matbhaktim Labhate Param. That a self-realized person, a person who understands their own identity, Nasochati Nakankshati, they never lament, they never desire anything. Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu, they are equally disposed to everyone. So that is the amazing qualities of the soul, that we become blissful once we understand our true nature. And then the final shloka from the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, he who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. Powerful. That's Bhagavad Gita 6:17. So Krishna there is explaining that discipline is important. Unless we are disciplined in our habits of performing activities, engaging in this world, and then recreation, relaxation, then we are not a real yogi, because a real yogi knows how to balance, how to find that balance between mind, body, and soul. Yes, that was the final one. And so oftentimes we can see that, especially in spiritual circles, we'll see that there can be like tendency to go into some kind of extremes. Some people who come to spiritual path, they kind of tend to be a little bit fanatical. I don't know if you experienced in your own life this phenomena, but it happens that sometimes we become like, oh, so I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, I just have these assets, I'm the spirit soul. So that means I don't need to take care of those. So then that's the extreme that we don't want to go into, because it's not what Krishna wants. It's not what is recommended in the Gita, to neglect the body, to neglect the mind, the emotional side, simply by this understanding that I'm not that, I'm the spirit soul, and I'm meant to take care of my spirit soul to connect with God. But the more kind of balanced understanding would be to take care of the body, to take care of the mind, of our emotions, that pranayama helps to do, to let go of all the tension of anxieties and negative thoughts, to take care of those assets, of those gifts that we have, because having a material body is a gift, utilizing which we can achieve the highest goal of going back to God, returning to our original constitutional position. So it's a gift that we can take care of, that we are supposed to take care of and not neglect it. So that's a healthy outlook on taking care of the body, taking care of the mind. So with this note, we're gonna go ahead and just do a little bit of practical session, half of the session that we have left, and I'm going to leave some time for questions at the end. So please write down those questions in the chat box. If something was unclear that I mentioned, or something that didn't make sense, or something you'd like to clarify, note it all down, and we can hopefully have a look at those and answer at the end of the session. And now I would like to invite you all to grab a yoga mat or simply sit on the floor. Just we're simple people, and we'll do a little bit of practical asanas. And I'll try to guide you through those asanas as best as I can. But now it's not the part of just watching me and listening. It's about doing. It's about engaging in the practice and experiencing the benefits that yoga has to offer for ourselves. So sit nice and comfortable in a seated position. So here we can either cross the legs or sit in Vajrasana, just on your knees. But I encourage you to grab a pillow or grab a blanket or something to just elevate your hips slightly. Because if our knees are like, so if you're sitting like this and your knees are higher than your hips, then it's not going to be good on your knees. So we want to take care of the knees. And always, whenever you're sitting cross-legged, make sure that your knees are lower than your hips. So a pillow or a block or a blanket, it really helps to achieve that goal. So let's go ahead and begin the practice with a few balancing breaths. So inhale in deeply. You can place your palm on your abdomen just to notice how the abdomen rises as you inhale. Exhale completely, abdomen goes in. Few more times. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. We can practice this short, simple mantra. So as we are inhaling, we can silently say in our mind the word let. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. Letting go of all the tension, worries, anxieties that we may have, negative thoughts, consciously understanding what's going on and let it go, not holding on to anything. A few more times. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. Bringing the consciousness, the awareness to the present moment. Notice how your body feels, what's going on in your mind. If you have any negative thoughts, just consciously let it go. Become present. The tendency with our mind is that it is constantly either planning for the future or lamenting about the past. We're rarely at the present moment. So let's use this short time that we have together to really become more present, right here and now. You can think about all these problems, all the plans that you have later after the session. Just talk to your mind. Talk to your mind as if it is a child that you can tell your child. We can talk about it later on. And be here and now with yourself, investing in your spiritual life. And now slowly we begin by bringing our right ear to the right shoulder, gentle stretches, coming back to center, left ear to the left shoulder, back to center, slow and controlled movements. A few more times. Find your rhythm, find your pace. Yoga Patanjali Sutras explain that what is the verse in Sanskrit? Sthira Sukha Asana. The yoga or asanas, they're meant to be sthira, steady, and sukha, happy. So we shouldn't be straining too much. We should be happy in the pose that we're doing. We should be comfortable. So listen to your body, find what works for you. And now slowly bringing the chin to the chest and dropping the neck backwards. Chin to the chest, drop backwards. Now we're warming up our body. Now nice big circles, drawing nice big circles with your nose, correlating with the breath. So as you inhale, the neck is dropping backwards. As you exhale, chin to the chest. Changing direction, opposite side. Just a few times, slow and controlled. See, this is nothing too extreme, but immediately it has such a positive effect on our body and our mind. It really helps us to relax, find that connection, and slowly coming back to center. Focusing on our shoulders now, bringing the shoulders up, squeeze and lift, and relax. Push the shoulders down, relax. Again, squeeze and lift to your ears, relax, push the shoulders down. Now coming into a rotation movement, rotating the shoulders anti-clockwise. A couple of times, nice big circles, keeping the back straight and tall. And then another direction. Wonderful. Shake your arms out, shake your hands out. Relaxing, letting go of the tension. Always simple practices. It moves the energy in the body. It moves those, we tend to store so much in our bodies. If we're not consciously letting it all out, it can actually accumulate and over time turn into physical diseases. So it's important to just let go of all the tension. Wonderful. Focusing on the waist now. Bringing the chest forward. Neutral. And then hunching. Chin to the chest. One more time. Chest forward. Relax. Hunch. Chin to the chest. And relax. Inhale. Bring the right arm up. As you exhale, bring that right hand to the floor and the left hand behind your back. And now gently bring your head overlooking the left shoulder. So that's a gentle spinal twist that helps us to improve the digestion in our stomach. Because in our regular activities, we don't really do much twists in the body. So it's important in yoga asanas to practice those twists to help the blood flow more into those internal organs. This way, increasing our digestion fire. Inhale, coming back to center, arm up. Changing directions, bring the left palm in front of you, the right arm behind you, behind your back, overlooking the right shoulder. Staying here for a few moments. Breathe, focus on the breath, awareness. Whenever and wherever your mind wanders, just bring it back to the present moment, focusing on the breath. And exhale, coming back to center. Beautiful. So these are some short, quick relaxation asanas that helps to just become a little bit more present, more mindful, and let go of that accumulated tension. Now we're gonna move on and do some hip openers. Because in the yoga, it is understood that we often store a lot of emotions, a lot of negative feelings in the hip area, and there's stiffness oftentimes. So it's good to move that part, to open the hips. So today I want to show you this very beneficial asana called Fastimothanasana, which means sitting forward bend. So before we go into the asana, let's do some preparatory movements that can help us to open the hips a little bit more. So butterfly is a simple asana, a simple movement that we can do. So bringing the soles of the feet together. I'm not sure if you can see me properly, but soles of the feet together, grabbing onto your toes, elongating your spine nice and tall. And now just flapping with your thighs up and down. That's a butterfly movement that helps to open the hips. Prepare for the forward bend. Again, make sure you're not hunching over, but keep your back nice and tall. Focus on the breath. Perhaps speed up. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Very good. And now bring the feet together, legs together. Stretch your legs out. Let me just turn to the side so you can see me better. Stretch your legs out. And now we're gonna bend the left leg and knee and place it into your, so you're basically hugging your, what do you call this, calf. And keeping the back nice and tall. You can here interlock your fingers. If that's too difficult, just simply hold the leg like that. And keeping the back nice and tall, we're rocking the baby movement, this is called. So we're simply moving from side to side, and you'll feel that your hips are opening, the stiffness is reducing. So these are, again, very powerful, simple movements for relaxation, for releasing the tension in the body. Just a few more times, and now releasing. Switching sides, bend the right leg and knee. Place the sole of the foot inside your inner left elbow, and moving from side to side. Awareness on the breath. You can practice Ujjayi breath if you're familiar. So Ujjayi breath is simply done by contracting the back of the throat and producing this oceanic sound. So it's a very powerful breath that helps us to be more steady in our practice, to retain the asanas for a longer time, and just be sthira sukha asana, perform asanas in a happy, comfortable state. Exhale, release. Now just make sure you're properly aligned, so sitting nicely on your sit bones. Again, if you want, you can use the pillow or a blanket or a block to sit a little bit higher. That will help you to bend forward even better. Place your palms on the floor and just take a few moments here. Activate your legs. The knees are straight and the legs are active. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Inhale, bring both arms up into the sky. Imagine you're climbing a ladder, elongate your spine. And with the next exhalation, slowly bending forward, folding forward from the waist down. So perhaps you are here today, perhaps placing your palms on your shins, or even grabbing your ankles or your toes. Whatever you are today, just find what works for you, find your asana. And we're gonna stay here for just a few breaths and focusing on the breath. And you'll feel that there's a nice stretch that is happening in your hamstrings. Fastimothanasana is actually super beneficial for the entire body. It stretches the hamstrings, the legs, stretches the spine, and it gives this nice pressure to your abdomen. So your abdominal organs are getting some kind of massage, and it improves digestion. And in Ayurveda, it is said that digestion or fire of digestion is the root for health. If we want to be healthy, then our fire of digestion has to be strong. Stay in the position if you can for a little bit longer. Perhaps go a little bit deeper, just a little bit. With the next inhalation, inch a little bit forward, and with the next exhalation, just give in to the gravity and bend a little bit more deeper. And slowly with the next inhalation, bringing the arms up. Slow and controlled movements. Releasing to the sides. Now in yoga practice, for every asana, for like every inversion, there's a counter position. For every forward bend, there's a counter position. So we just did a forward bend. Now to counteract that position, we're gonna do inclined plane, which will bring the body up. So placing the palms behind our back And with the next inhalation, lifting the whole body up and dropping the neck backwards. And slowly bringing the hips back to the floor. So say if you do the forward bend, if you hold the asana for 1 minute, then the counter position we will do for half a minute, so half the time. So this is a very beneficial asana for anxiety, for stress, for calming the mind down. So very relaxing. Now we're gonna lie down on the mat, on our back. And keep the legs together, feet together, palms facing down on the floor, chin slightly tucked to the chest. So just take a few moments to again focus on your breath, awareness. And now bend your both legs in knee, placing the heels close to the hips. We're gonna do half bridge pose, which is very, very beneficial for any back problems. If you have any back pain, then this is a very powerful asana and it helps to relax as well. And it's very simple, nothing too complicated today. So with the next inhalation, lift your hips, your lower back up of the floor. And there's a natural chin lock that happens. Bring your chin to the chest. You can choose to interlock your fingers. I don't know if you can see your fingers behind your back. In this way, you're giving an even deeper stretch to your shoulders as well. And activate your legs. Your thighs are nice and strong. Staying here for a few breaths. And slowly releasing the hands. And slowly bringing the lower back down to the floor, hips to the floor. And exhale, release the legs back down. So I think time is running out. So let's practice our final pose for today, which is Shavasana. So what we do in Shavasana, we take a distance between the legs, arms away from the body, palms facing out, chin slightly tucked to the chest. And Shavasana is actually the most powerful pose. It may seem like, it's nothing difficult, but actually in Shavasana, we have to be conscious. We have to bring the mind under control, to consciously relax. And that's the most difficult thing to do. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, that one should control the mind. And Arjuna says, Vayar iva suduskaram, to control the mind is more difficult than controlling the wind. But Krishna says it is possible by proper practice and detachment. So in this Shavasana, we can practice this detachment. We can practice bringing the mind under control. So before we go into final relaxation, let's do some tensing and relaxing. So I hope you're all lying down on the floor. And let's do, this is very wonderful, tensing and relaxing. So we're consciously tensing one part of the body and then relaxing. And that helps for a deeper relaxation. So let's begin with the legs. Lift your left leg up off the floor, just 2 inches up of the floor. Tense your leg, tense, and relax, drop. Right leg up off the floor, tense, and drop, relax. Lift your hips up off the floor. Just slightly tense, squeeze your buttocks, tense, and drop, relax. Lift your chest up off the floor, tense, and drop, relax. Bring your both arms up off the floor, slightly. Make it into fists, clench your hands into fists, tense, and then open your fingers wide open, stretch, and relax, drop the hands down to the floor. Bring your shoulders up towards your ears, squeeze and lift, tense, and relax. Turn your neck from side to side slowly. Coming back to center. Open your eyes wide open. Stick your tongue out. Stretch, 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 and relax. Now bring all your facial muscles into one point. Make a lemon sour face. Squeeze, tense, tense, and relax. That's a bit of facial yoga today, relaxing the facial muscles. And now just completely relax your body. Scan your body once again from head to toes, consciously relaxing every part of your body. And begin Shavasana with a few deep breaths, inhaling deeply. Exhaling completely. Inhale, notice the abdomen rising. Exhale, abdomen goes in. Keep relaxing in Shavasana. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Take a few moments to just relax, letting go of all the tension, worries, anxieties. Again, you can practice this simple mantra with every inhalation, silently saying your mind let, exhaling go, inhale let, exhale go. And slowly prepare your body to release Shavasana by moving your toes, your fingers. Turn your body to the right side, and with the help of your palms or the hands, lift your body up into comfortable seated position. I hope that was relaxing. Notice how you feel after the practice of just a few simple asanas, few simple yoga exercises and breath. And just take a few moments to become present. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. You can open your eyes now and just let us know in the chat box if you have any questions. Our session is almost over. I hope you found it useful and beneficial. And yes.
Thank you so much. We are really grateful to you, Priti, for helping us to relax in such simple ways. Like all the asanas which you taught was so simple, and almost everybody, if not everyone, especially some of them were absolutely. I really loved that butterfly one where you were moving your knees, and it was really, really helpful. Thank you so much. I'll just see if there are any questions in the chat box.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of appreciation out here. Your asanas had an air of peace and calm, beautiful, very, very nice session. Yeah. So there have been a lot of appreciations coming, but I think you made it so simple and straight that Shivani from Bombay is asking, which simple routine can be followed by elderly people?
Thank you, Shivani Mataji. Beautiful question. So for elderly people, there's a all the yogas can be practiced, but they can be modified in a way that elderly people feel comfortable, that they are not overstretching, or that those asanas may not cause any injury in the body. So like Surya Namaskar can be done, which is very, very beneficial. I'm sure you've done Surya Namaskar already on these online sessions, or maybe perhaps on site. So anyway, Surya Namaskar can be done for elderly people on a chair. So there's modifications. I'm sure you can find some videos on YouTube how to do those same simple asanas for Surya Namaskar for elderly people. So that will be like sitting, arching back, then hunching, coming into cobra. All these are done on a chair. So it's like chair yoga, which can be very beneficial for office people who work in the office and for elderly people. So again, if you're completely new to yoga, then it's best to find someone who is a practitioner of yoga, who knows how to do those asanas and can instruct you in a way that you just learn those asanas and then you can practice on your own. Because if we try to do something ourselves without a master, without a teacher, it's very difficult in any field, in any subject matter. We need a teacher. So I would say you have a wonderful community of people who are into yoga, and I'm sure you can find someone who can actually show you how to follow those simple routines. So I think the time is short. I wouldn't go into like showing now those asanas because anyway, elderly people can do many different asanas, but it may not be like 100%. It may not be like 90%. It will be just like I showed you the Fastimothanasana forward bend. So elderly people can just sit like that, nice and tall, and just bend forward just slightly, and you'll still feel that nice stretch in your back, in your hamstrings. So all the different asanas can be beneficial. I hope that helped.
Thank you for explaining. Also, somebody is again saying, I used to do Shavasana all wrong. Thanks for teaching so well. So sometimes we are doing yoga, but we are doing it all wrong. And so we need guidance from, experts like you. And you coming on our platform, it's really an honor for us all the way. It's so easy now. The world has compressed into this, social media. Through that we have been reaching out to you. So where are you at this point of time?
I'm now in Lithuania, back in my home country. I'm staying with my parents, and it's really my honor and my great pleasure to be here with you today. And thank you for this wonderful opportunity for me to share a little something that I like, that I love, and I find so much benefit, from just practicing yoga and mindfulness, relaxation, bhakti yoga, that all gives us so much happiness. And like today's talk I was trying to focus a little bit more about, this finding that connection, because all those yoga, practices, asanas, they're meant to help us to feel more relaxed and calm so that we can connect with the divine, which is the goal of life, to develop love for God. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that what is the question of happiness unless one is not peaceful? So unless you are peaceful, what is the question of happiness? So all these asanas that I showed you today, the Shavasana practice, they're all meant to help us to be a little bit more peaceful, relaxed, so that we can practice yoga, connection with God.
That's so true. That's so true, Priti. In fact, we are, like you mentioned in your session also, that we are Sat Chit Anand, eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. But somehow, with all the external things going on around us, we forget to reconnect to that bliss which we have just within us. And through these simple exercises of just concentrating on our prana can help us to connect with that. And of course, mantra meditation is one of the things which is recommended for this age. Uh, that is the simplest way to reconnect to the Supreme Lord once again. So we are really grateful to you, Yugal Priti, for coming on our platform and sharing your knowledge with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, please.
No, that's it. That's it from my side. Unless there's any other questions, comments, or something.
They're asking you to do one more session.
With great pleasure. I'm happy to serve in any way I can.
Thank you. So we have in half an hour, we have, today is also the World Music Day. So we are having a session, a nice musicale, along with our mantra meditation team, Beena, Baldev and Meghna. Please don't forget to log in at 8 o'clock back on Pavitra platform. Looking forward to seeing you in half an hour. Thank you. Thank you. Have a Pavitra day.